Yeah, you guys get your own.
Oh, wow. John's happy.
Yeah.
I think John's having lunch.
John Ratzenberger, the man, the myth, and always the legend when it comes to minor roles that leave an impact on your childhood. You need a voice that can play a small character in a movie, but still be just as memorable as the main cast? Ratzenberger is your guy. Now, Ratzenberger has made a name for himself, starring in such sitcoms as the acclaimed Cheers, but I know most people my age know him as Pixar's most recurring voice in the films. He's actually often referred to as Pixar's good luck charm, because of his distinctive voice and memorable characters he provided throughout Pixar's lifespan. From the humble beginnings of Toy Story to the very recent success of Inside Out 2, John has been leaving a lasting impression on all of us who grew up with these films, and I thought I might as well celebrate his contributions with a ranking of all his roles in Pixar. Now, some ground rules first. I'm only looking at Pixar roles. I know Ratzenberger has done some other voice work for other companies, most recently Skydance Studios with John Lasseter, but those won't count. I'm also very aware that he's not in every Pixar film. After Onward and the departure of disgraced Lasseter leaving the studio, Ratzenberger went along with him until reprising his role as Fritz for Inside Out 2. So films like Soul, Turning Red, Lightyear, Luca, and Elemental will not be here. Also, I know there was a character in Soul that was supposed to represent Ratzenberger as a tribute, but since there was no voice provided, it doesn't count. So that leaves with 15 different roles that we'll be ranking. And trust me when I tell you that some of these picks won't really surprise you on what comes out in dead last. Probably the most forgettable role John has ever done. We have Gordon from Brave. Gordon is a guard in the castle where King Fergus and his family reside, and that's pretty much it. Look, I had a lot of contenders for what was considered to be John's worst role, but I think with Gordon being the most unnecessary or uninspired of the bunch, it's no wonder why he ends up dead last. This role is really small compared to others, and you can just barely hear John's distinctive voice, since he puts on a Scottish accent. The only memorable moment Gordon has is announcing the arrival of the other kingdoms before getting slammed by the door. This is just a very boring and cheap way of bringing Ratzenberger back. It doesn't add the rich tapestry of Ratzenberger's other iconic roles.
Kill him!
From another low-tier Pixar film to another, we have The Good Dinosaur, and leave it to the studio to also give John a very unrecognizable role as well. Ratzenberger plays Earl, a velociraptor attempting to eat our main protagonist. Now, while very underwhelming, I will give credit that this is just above Gordon for one sole reason: Ratzenberger's versatility. I didn't know this was Ratzenberger at first, given that his portrayal of Earl is a more menacing character that doesn't sound like the usual Ratzenberger voice we know and love. I guess in a way it adds more expression John is used to, but again doesn't stand out as much with only one line of dialogue. Heck, none of these dino characters really were memorable to begin with, but I digress. At least this role was more engaging than Gordon.
Your photos of your dentist, Brenda. Enjoy your visit.
Gracias.
Okay, we're still scraping some of the more bottom-of-the-barrel choices before getting to some actual characters with more than one line in the whole movie, but I can safely say that Juan from Coco is more memorable than Gordon and Earl combined. First, he does have a cool and wicked design to him, and named after the word orthodontics and looking at his real-life photo and then his skeletal form with the colored teeth, it's a nice touch. Now, this is John's shortest and smallest role he's ever had with Pixar so far, only saying
Gracias.
before leaving. But again, I think his design alone is more than what makes up for him being above the other two.
No, I'm looking for an ancient gem.
Yeah, the old days.
No.
John's current original character he's voiced so far, not counting his stint in Inside Out 2. Fenwick is a construction worker in the movie Onward. I feel like during the 2010s, Pixar has just really been giving him these one-note characters that don't really stand out from his previous roles in the 2000s. So seeing this character with a few more lines does feel a little satisfying, even if it is his latest. I guess his brief appearance is a nod to his long-standing relationship with Pixar, and after the departure with John Lasseter and his relationship with him and Ratzenberger, Pixar knew that they might be losing their good luck charm. But it is a joy when fans spot his characters in new films.
Yep, Blue Tangs are getting their own exhibit in Cleveland, being shipped out on a truck at the crack of dawn.
One of the few moments where John plays a completely different character to a previous one with one of Pixar's biggest franchises. In Finding Nemo, he plays a school of moonfish, which we will get to later in this ranking. But for the sequel, Ratzenberger plays this pessimistic little crab named Bill. Bill still has that cynical and funny charm that fans are used to when hearing John's voice, but just a little more pitched up than normal. A very minor role, but still pretty enjoyable.
All right, here you go. Your new expanded console is up and running.
Fritz is a maintenance worker in Inside Out and its sequel, who is another minor but memorable character. It's a blink and you'll miss it performance. His role in maintaining the inner workings of Riley's mind adds a touch of humor to the film's exploration of emotions. When talking about the new console or explaining to his coworker about how rude the emotions are, he's quite enjoyable. Also, I like the name Fritz as well, as it shows Riley's mind being on the fritz through puberty, so naturally he and his crew are there to fix it.
What should I tell them?
What did you tell them?
I told them I would ask!
Now we're really getting into the nitty-gritty of John's most recognizable roles, ones where they actually feel like more than just a cameo. In Ratatouille, we have Mustafa, a nervous waiter who works at Cousteau's. While mostly quiet, probably due to his mannerisms and anxiety, Mustafa tries his best to please demanding customers. We especially see this when he encounters food critic Anton Ego, who finds himself unable to understand Ego's dinner request. This is John's first time putting an accent on his characters, Mustafa being French. And yes, while Gordon had a Scottish accent, his one line did not save him from being memorable. Mustafa does have more scenes to go by, and even with little dialogue, shows more emotion and memorable scenes with him, being the excitement when Skinner gets fired, or the deception when finding out about Remy being the head chef. I think this is the dark horse of Ratzenberger's work, and just like the film itself, it's only getting the recognition he deserves now more than ever before.
For double his last offer. What do you say to that?
Our second construction worker on the list, but a bit more memorable. Tom is our unfortunate worker for an unnamed site who tries to persuade our protagonist Carl into living in the Shady Oaks retirement village in order to tear down his house and build a shopping center there. Though very minor, Tom actually leaves a huge impact on the film. You feel for Tom because while he's just doing his job to make his supervisor happy, he also doesn't want to kick Carl out of his home. He even gets disappointed after Carl assaults a worker and then put in court for his actions. Tom is just a friendly guy who means no harm, and I think that's worth a few spots up this list. Just a side note, Tom is also a cameo in one of Pixar's short films, Day and Night.
John.
Eva?
No. John.
No, this is not a parody of himself, they just share the same name. Ratzenberger voices John, one of the humans aboard the Axiom. This character shows a certain bond with our robot protagonist, as he actually sees both Wally and Eve more than just the servant robots. John's journey from a sedentary lifestyle to rediscovering the joys of human connection is a subtle but important part of the film's message, as you can see him having interactions with other humans, like Mary, who eventually fall in love with each other. John also learns about the importance of taking care of our planet and ourselves. This is an enjoyable role in a stellar Pixar movie.
John, get ready to have some kids!
I'm always beneath you, but nothing is beneath me!
A villain with a penchant for dramatic entrances, the Underminer is a character that leaves a lasting impression. His brief but impactful appearances at the end of Incredibles and the beginning of Incredibles 2 sets the stage for exciting action sequences throughout. The second film especially, since we get to see more of an insight on the Underminer's capabilities as a villain. He even escapes the superhero family, getting away with the almost destruction of the city, so he could possibly return for the upcoming third movie. A fan favorite for both movies and in Ratzenberger's cameos in general.
Hey, Ted here's got relatives in Sydney, don't you, Ted?
Sure do.
A very minor character who has one of the most iconic scenes in Finding Nemo. John plays a school of moonfish who love to do impressions and take the shape of any sea creature. When Marlin and Dory have an argument, the moonfish show up and try to cheer Dory up by doing their routine of comedy in various shapes and try to make her guess, and also insult Marlin with his grumpy personality.
Somebody please give me directive.
I'm serious.
Blah, 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 me, me, blah, 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 me, me, me.
They do have a helpful side to them as well, providing directions to find Marlin's lost son Nemo. Everything about the moonfish is delightful and a treat to watch, and it only helps with John's perfect comedic timing and wit.
Hey, kid, congrats on the tie.
Probably one of the few instances where anything Cars related will be high up on a Pixar list. Another standout role for John is the loyal and dependable truck Mac. He's Lightning McQueen's transporter who always takes him to his next location, whether it be to the Piston Cup finals or taking a break at Radiator Springs. Mac's dedication and upbeat personality makes him a fan favorite. His role is crucial in helping McQueen navigate the ups and downs of the racing world. Another thing to mention is the credits in the first Cars movie, where Mac pretty much watches parodies of John's other voice roles and criticizes them completely. Good stuff.
Minute here. They're just using the same actor over and over. What kind of a cut-rate production is this? Can you believe that? Do I look abominable to you?
The Abominable Snowman, or Yeti, is a friendly and humorous character who provides comic relief in Monsters, Inc. When Mike and Sally get banished to the Himalayas, the Yeti is there ready to greet and welcome them into his cave. His cheerful disposition and memorable line,
Welcome to the Himalayas!
makes him a standout character despite his brief screen time. It's also funny to point out that the fabled monster that kids hear stories about is actually a friendly monster is beyond brilliant, although I do have to wonder, what was the reason for the Yeti's banishment? Well, actually he shows up in the TV spin-off Monsters at Work and explains that he knew about the Scream extractor leading to his banishment, and I thought it was just him messing with the mail all these years.
All right, nobody look till I get my cork back in.
One of the more recognizable roles John Ratzenberger has, and probably his most popular. Ham is a wisecracking piggy bank who I guess is considered a toy to his owner Andy. His sarcastic humor and witty one-liners add a unique charm to the Toy Story franchise.
Probably all copper wiring, huh? So, where are you from? Singapore?
Ham's interactions with the other toys, especially Mr. Potato Head, provide some of the most memorable comedic moments of the franchise. Appearing in all 4 Toy Story movies, I wouldn't be surprised if someone said this was their favorite character in the franchise. And even with the abundance of new characters every installment, Ham still finds a way to become welcome and hilarious. And yet, there's still one more character that I think deserves the top spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present Manto the Magnificent and his lovely assistant, Gypsy!
In my opinion, the best role John Ratzenberger has been in. A fast-talking circus remaster, P.T. Flea is a character full of energy and enthusiasm. His role in A Bug's Life adds a layer of humor and chaos, especially during the circus scenes.
Come here. I want my money back.
No refunds after the first 2 minutes.
You laugh at me.
That's because you're a clown! Down to these 2 posts, spinning a web of safety in less than 15 seconds!
Flea is undoubtedly the funniest character in the entire movie. Every second he was on was pure magic. Ratzenberger's voice brings Flea's larger-than-life personality to the forefront, and it shows. His constant yelling and short temper are absolutely hilarious, and I think this is John's most underrated voice role ever. He does not get the credit that he deserves.
I am the great P.T. Flea! I'm in need of your assist. Oh, let's just cut to the chase.
So yeah, that was all of John's voices in a nutshell. I think his contributions to Pixar films are a testament to his talent and versatility as a voice actor. His characters, whether major or minor, always leave a lasting impression and add a unique flavor to Pixar's beloved stories. But what do you think? What are some of your favorite Ratzenberger roles? Which of these sticks out to you? I would love to know in the comments.
All right, now it's getting mushy. We're out of here. Yeah!